We're going to be covering the results of the Ballon d'Or from the La Liga perspective in this video. It was a very controversial Ballon d'Or, as honestly every single one is nowadays. But anyways, there's a lot of talking points from the La Liga perspective for this year's edition. If you guys like La Liga, make sure you are subscribed. Firstly, I just want to ask, does anyone think Dembele winning was unjustified?
No.
He deserves
Wasn't the robbery of the century?
No, it wasn't like last year.
That's correct.
Oh my God.
All the controversy that came from that last year. Jesus Christ. At least we didn't have that whole discussion this year with Dembele winning. I think most people were fine with it, to be honest.
Yeah, I think most of us knew it was coming, to be honest. And again, as the Barca fan here who wanted Lamine Yamal to obviously hoist it, I think most of us also realize that he's super young. He'll have his turn. He's probably going to get multiple of them. So, Dembele deserves it, I think, for what he did. And shout out to Dembele for all the Barca love, bro, in that speech. I mean, I think, we've had an impact on his career in some form or fashion. I honestly wish he would have done that at Barca, but outside of that, nah, man, happy for him.
I feel like the response was La Liga fans and Barca fans specifically were more upset at where Rafinha was and maybe where Pedri was as well. And I think Liverpool fans were more upset that like Salah didn't win. That was the one fan base that I saw the most angry on Twitter about Dembele lifting the award. But it could have just been my algorithm. Who knows? Just what I saw, anecdotal. I want to ask you guys, because we did have several La Liga players who made the top 30. Which one of those rankings do you guys think was the most controversial?
I mean, do we go to the obvious one first and then kind of trickle down from there? I mean,
let's take the layup.
I mean, Pedri being 11th is just ridiculous to me. That's why I don't really take this Ballon d'Or serious, to be honest, because I just think it is basically turned into Rory Jennings content right here. Rage baiting at its finest. Because how Pedri can be 11th place, as Stephen A. Smith would say, is blasphemous. Honestly, like he is easily, for me, this is my opinion, people. Everybody can have their own point of view about it, and it's all subjective. I think he was Barcelona's best player last year. Without him, I don't think Barcelona make it to the semifinal of the Champions League. I don't think they win the Copa del Rey. I just think he was so influential throughout the season, no matter which competition, no matter what pairing he had in the midfield, whether it was Casado, Frankie de Jong, Dani Olmo, Fermi Lopez. Pedri was always the glue in the midfield. And for him to be 11th place behind fucking Cole Palmer. No, shout out to Cole Palmer. He's an unbelievable footballer. Not from last season. Maybe the season before where Cole Palmer was amazing in his first season at Chelsea. I can understand it. 11th place, Pedri. 8th place, Cole Palmer. It's just ridiculous to me, but I just think some journalists around the world, because basically it is just journalists who are voting for this, thought, oh, let's really kind of spice things up here. Let's put Pedri not even in the top 5 of voting. Just ridiculous. So Pedri should be, if I had a vote, I would have probably put him at 3rd.
Yes, exactly what I was going to say. To me, he was top
5, absolute minimum. Like it just to suggest that there were 10 individuals who had a better season than Pedri is simply not true. And what was one of the main mini narratives like the whole time? Who's the best midfielder in the world? Vitinha or Pedri? Now, I think Pedri is clear. I think Vitinha is a good player. I do think he's overrated. If you want to say Vitinha was a little bit better, granted, they won the Champions League. Fine. I disagree with you, but I don't think you're an idiot. But to have Vitinha that many spots, 8 spots above Pedri, I almost lost it when I was reading the list out loud. I'm like, this is just objectively a terrible selection.
We just need more PR. It feels like this whole list was put together based on PR, from my perspective. Like, you from Pedri's, like I think if we looked at, we all watched the Newcastle game together, right? The amount, and I saw Michael tweet about this, I thought it was spot on. The amount of PR that came for Pedri following this game, it just made it seem like these guys have never watched him play. Never once watched La Liga, seen what he does week in and week out. Bro, he's been doing this for years. It's amazing to me that I'm not sure if this is the highest he's ever been in this list. Someone can fact check me in the comments, maybe. But the fact that this is probably the highest he's been, wild to me. And he still deserves to be significantly higher. And anybody who's throwing out stats like GA to describe where he should fit into this top 30 list, bro, you're so lost. But even if you want to have that debate, look at any other generational midfielder and their stats at Pedri's age, at 23 years old. Iniesta wasn't there, didn't have what Pedri has. Modric wasn't there, didn't have what Pedri has. I think Pedri has like 70 GA across his career to this point. It's not about that, but if you want to make it about that, there's so many other players we can point to that have been greats all time, and Pedri is outshining them to an extent, right? So I don't know, man. It felt blasphemous. Like the Rafinha one's bad, Pedri's way worse.
I hear what you're saying, and I totally agree. People probably don't watch Pedri that much at Barca. But if that's the truth, and the three of us are sitting here and saying, you know what? People don't watch enough Barca. They haven't seen Pedri often enough. Are you telling me they're watching Liga? Are they watching PSG versus Brest?
Yeah, maybe
no,
they are.
Of course
Who
they're
knows?
not.
Who knows, man? This last season might have been
the viewing
most,
numbers of Liga.
They might have been the most watched Ligue 1 has most viewership Ligue 1 has had probably in quite some time, which is how good they were last season. I remember the second half specifically of last season. I hadn't seen that much PR for PSG in quite some time. Like, and even with Mbappe on that team, I don't think they were ever touted as being that good, favorites to win the Champions League, everything. I think it was like just his responsibility to lead that team to glory because of how good he was. But I don't know, man. I'd never seen a PSG player have more favoritism by fans in general as I saw last season.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know, one Neymar year, you could have said that they were the, I don't know, second favorite to win the Champions League. I feel like that was
Messi and Neymar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Maybe
COVID year, they were probably a top two favorite COVID year.
Yep.
I feel like when they lost to Bayern. Yeah, I think the Pedri is an obvious one that is ludicrous. I mean, I did have some people in my own comment section like, I don't understand why you're mad that Cole Palmer's higher. Like, look at his GA. I'm like, dude, Pedri's not a winger, man. He's not a winger. He's not an attacking midfielder. He doesn't take penalties.
Bro,
why are you comparing an 8 to a right wing?
Even review Cole Palmer in isolation, right? Let's just take that for example. Like Michael said, the season before last, he performed better for Chelsea statistically when you just watched him with the eye test. And bro, like last season, he was not bad. You know, I think he was fine for Chelsea, but somehow he moved up 17 spots season over season. It just doesn't make sense. You know, I get the whole fine, whatever GA argument. That's not comparable between Pedri and Palmer, but even just Palmer in isolation, way too high when you factor in guys like Kane missed out, other attackers that are more comparable to Palmer.
Jeez.
It felt like, I don't know, man. Again, PR, it feels like it won in this top 10, top 30 list.
I want to talk about another name that I thought was overrated. And I thought Vinicius at 16 was too high. I'll be honest with you. I thought it was too high. I don't think he should have been out of the top 30. But when I looked at him, I'm like, there are better nominees from La Liga who had a better argument to be in the top 30. And I wrote this down. You guys respond to this. These are my top three robberies from La Liga who did not make the top 30. At number 3, I have Fede Valverde. I couldn't believe that Fede didn't make the top 30, but Jude Bellingham was 23. I mean, honestly, for just a second, does anyone think Jude Bellingham last year, who's third in Ballon d'Or the previous season, by the way, was better than Fede? I thought Fede was the only Madrid player who leveled up from the previous season. It was one of the best Fede years I've ever seen, maybe the best. And he was in the top 30 last year. I think he was 17th, and he was unranked this year. Are you having a laugh? I didn't. I thought that was crazy. If you're going to throw a Madrid midfielder in there, and I don't like Real Madrid, but I respect Fede Valverde, definitely top 30. Definitely top 30. Number 2 on there, Jules Koundé, not being in the top 30. Which maybe if Denzel Dumfries wasn't in the top 30, I wouldn't have found it to be a robbery. But I think Koundé had a better season than Dumfries. In every single statistic except goals, Jules Koundé was better. So that was a crazy one. And then the number 1 here, and this is, when I look at Vinicius 16 again, I'm just scratching my head, Julian Alvarez. Yes, I'm an Atleti fan, but I think Julian Alvarez had a very, very strong argument to make the top 30, especially when you got guys like Vinicius in there at 16. You got Lautaro Martinez his fellow countrymen at 20. When you look at the stats, Lautaro had 22 goals, 3 assists. Julian Alvarez has 29 goals, 7 assists. So he had more GA than Lautaro Martinez and didn't even crack the freaking top 30.
I'll throw in one more robbery because we know defenders are never going to get respected in these Ballon d'Or votes. But if any center back from La Liga, and no, I'm not going to say Vivian before people go crazy in the comments, I think Inigo Martinez should be in the top 30. I think Inigo was the best center back in La Liga. I think he was very influential in how Barcelona wanted to play overall last season. I think if Declan Rice, Denzel Dumfries, who are basically in this top 30 because of one game, although Declan Rice last year for Arsenal was pretty good, but Denzel Dumfries wasn't as good for Inter compared to the previous season with Inter. And he got in basically for his semifinals performance against Barcelona, which granted, it was amazing what Denzel Dumfries does. But one game warrants you getting the top 30, whereas Inigo Martinez was, I think, outstanding throughout the season for Barcelona. He should have been in the top. He should be ahead of Vinicius and let's say Bellingham. He should be in the
Definitely
top 20 of the Ballon d'Or. So yeah, it's pretty crazy. The fact that Lewandowski is ranked below Vinicius, by the way, sorry. I'm sorry. I'm a heavy critic of Lewandowski because I think he misses a lot of chances. But the fact that Vinicius, it's just craziness, man. There's no consistency with this voting, and obviously, Vinny had one moment last year in the Champions League against Dortmund. What else did he do?
Probably the worst season he's had at Madrid.
Yep.
I mean, outside of maybe like the first season and a half where he struggled a lot with the club, but outside of that, last season was by far his worst season, and I don't know, man.
And Real Madrid's worst season. And Real Madrid's worst season, and he still got 16th.
And that's what I think. I think this is now just become an award that I don't want to downplay it too much, right? Because there've been so many butts up players who've won it in the past, at least to an extent. It's come to the club in some form or fashion a lot in the last decade plus. But I will say it's just very narrative driven now at this point. Madrid has some world beaters on their team. Sure, they had an off season. They went trophyless, or I guess you want to count the European Community Shield, right? The Super Cup. But outside of that, they didn't do anything, and therefore you see these guys just not being rated outside of their superstars in Vinny and Mbappe. But I think collectively, because when I look at this list, if you were to actually rank the best players in the world, regardless of season, like right now, just who those are, who are like our top 3? I think my top 3, regardless of context, is like Lamine, Mbappe, Haaland are like top 3 in the world. I can't think of anybody else who really cracks into that. So after that, you're applying the context of what they did last season. And I think that, bro, it just feels like even Mbappe to an extent, pretty underrated, bro. He won the Pichichi against Lewandowski, who's been converting at a ridiculous rate for years now, and only got 7th. I still think Rafinha only getting 5th, despite the crazy season he had. Yeah, I think it's just all built on narratives, man. And if you can't find a way to play into those narratives, these journalists in France maybe aren't watching enough football for you to change their minds.
But why is Erling Haaland punished accordingly for the performance of his team and not having a historic season like he's had previously, but Vinicius isn't? But Jude Bellingham isn't. Like, why can we look at Haaland and say, I don't think he's top 3? Why can't we look at Haaland and say, yeah, you know what? It wasn't up to standard, but it was still good. Let's put him at 26th or wherever they had him, 25 to 30. Why can we not do the same thing with these Madrid players? And it's not just a Madrid issue, but it was more of a Madrid issue this season than with anybody else. Why can we not separate the player from the freaking jersey? We struggle to do that. And I look at when the votes come out of these journalists, and I'm like, brother, you're not watching these games. You're blind by the aura. You're blinded by the history. And last year, when Carvajal finished in 4th because Madrid, have a great season, they win everything. It's kind of like the Jorginho argument where it's like, all right, no, he's not really top 4. He's
and he won
really
the Euros.
3, but yeah, and he won the Euros. But I understand why he's there.
Yep.
But when it doesn't go well, Madrid players should be punished. City players were punished extensively in this. They had one guy in the top 30.
Yeah, they did. Wow. Yeah, they only had one player.
Yeah, and he barely made it.
How many Liverpool have? 3? McAllister?
3.
Van Dijk.
McAllister was 22nd, and Van Dijk was 28th, and obviously Salah was 4th.
Yeah.
And they won the Premier League.
And they won the Premier League. Yeah. So I don't know. Some people could have, I mean, probably not last year, but there were probably some Liverpool players that you could have made an argument for. I feel like because they didn't win the FA Cup, they crashed out of the Champions League when they did, they were punished accordingly by the voters. But it didn't feel like Madrid were punished accordingly. And the two players who really put respect on them, Mbappe, I thought he was fairly ranked. And and Fede Valverde, who's not in the top 30.
Yeah.
I didn't like it.
Weird.
I know if Andre was here, because we've had this conversation already, he and I know he'd be shouting for Mbappe to be higher because of the Pichichi Award. I get it, man. The hardest thing to do is score goals. Not for that guy, obviously. But I will say, like, it's cooler. The way I put it was, like, it's cooler if those individual statistics contribute to something bigger than yourself. And I think, again, it just all goes back to narrative. If Madrid would have hoisted any trophy, the Supercopa, the Copa del Rey, whatever it may have been, took in something off of Barcelona, then I think Mbappe probably would have cracked top 5, top 4. I think he, honestly, man, probably would have been higher than Salah, in my opinion. I just think that they were waiting for him to win something. And because it didn't happen, it's like, well, how much impact did you really have? I think, honestly, he was the reason Real Madrid contended with Barcelona for so long. I think without his goals, man, like, if he had gotten injured any part of the season last year, we're talking about a scenario where Madrid, I don't know, maybe fall to 3rd, maybe fall to 4th. Because Athletic Club was good, very strong last year. Atletico Madrid, we saw how much they pushed Barcelona to the edge every single game. I don't know, man. It could have been a dicey situation for Real Madrid last season.
We don't need to go down this road too much, but I also thought Michael Olise being 14 spots lower than Vinicius.
No, don't get me started. Don't get me started. I could go on around for 10 minutes on that. Him being 30th. Ridiculous.
I think this is a season, though. I think this is a season.
It's because Bayern were eliminated when they were eliminated. So again, why are Harry Kane outside the top? Come on, man. But why are other teams and other players punished?
I don't know, man. It's a crazy shout. It's a crazy shout. But I think Harry Kane should be in top 10 minimum. From there, he's debatable. Yeah. And so, like, there's still a lot of fans who think that, Bayern didn't do what they normally do in terms of hoisting every trophy. So, like, it really doesn't matter. That's what he was brought in to do. That's the argument I see on the timeline. I'm like, bro, it's still, again, man, the amount of GA that man has alone, it feels like he's stat padding every fucking game. You have to give him. They got
a new manager. I mean, they're rebuilding the team. Again, like, do people even pay attention to, like, what's going on at these teams? Context doesn't matter at all. Evidently, doesn't matter at all. Do you guys?
But I would disagree quickly that I wouldn't have Alvarez in the top 30. To be honest, I just think you have to try and be close to winning something. And Atleti weren't even close to win. Obviously, they made to the semifinals of the Copa del Rey. Yeah, semifinals. Yeah. Then obviously didn't really challenge for La Liga. Obviously, they were strong in that challenge until March and then fell off. Champions League, obviously, round of 16. I still feel like you need to win something in order to be in the top 30. Or at least be close.
For every player.
Yeah.
Okay. I hear what you're saying. And if that was a written criteria, I would say fine. I say fair. It's part of the rules. Rules are the rules. We didn't get close enough. Do y'all know who made the top 30 last year? From La Liga.
I don't have it pulled up. But
who didn't win a trophy and didn't really get close. And this one's interesting because he's not from a big club. Dovbyk from Girona was and Nico Williams, but the Euros. Dovbyk from Girona was 27th or 28th last year in the ranking. So I see that, and I'm like, okay, well, hold on. Julian had better output than Dovbyk did last season. Julian Alvarez won the Copa America. I'm pretty sure the Copa America is factored in here. Am I wrong about that? Is it summer 2024?
No, it's basically from 24-25 season. So they don't count the Copa America.
Okay. It should be. It should be factored in. It should be, in my opinion.
That's interesting because I thought the one argument Lautaro had above Julian, which was a weak-ass argument, was he scored the winner in the Copa America final. The reason it was a weak argument is because Julian scored the winner in the semifinal. So, okay, you don't score the winner in the final unless Julian scores the winner in the semifinal. So if that wasn't factored in there, then I'm extra pissed now that Lautaro is 20th and Julian's not there. Like, I maybe this is the hipster in me as well, Michael, but I want to see like 3 high ball IQ inclusions in the top 30 where I'm like, damn, the voters impressed me with this one. You know what? He is a top 30 player. You guys were cooking with it. I'm not mad at Dovbyk last season. I'm like, hey, run it. That's cool. But Julian, of a hipster pick, I think has an unbelievably strong case. I don't know, maybe Ekatike as well could have had a hipster AF
Marmouche,
argument.
maybe.
Marmouche,
he was
maybe.
unbelievable Frankfurt, so he could have been in the top. I think like a player like Girassi getting in the top 20 or top 21, I think that's fantastic because he fully deserves it. So I just can't look
Totally
at
agree.
any La Liga players outside of maybe the big three where I'm like, yeah, they could have sneaked in. I don't think Alex Baena. I don't think any Athletic Club players. Definitely no Sociedad players. So there wasn't as a strong argument compared to Girona the previous season where they did wonders and finished runners-up or third place in La Liga. I mean, they could have had Savinho. They could have had Dovbyk. They could have so many players in the top 30. So at least Dovbyk got some credit. This time around, I just don't think that narrative can be pushed by La Liga this season.
Do you guys think that La Liga overall was represented well by the Ballon d'Or list this year?
Yes.
You have to define well. I think you were represented. That's good. They were in there. It just feels like they don't rate La Liga. You know, I'm looking at the players that were included from my perspective. Some of the ones, the exemptions we talked about from the other big two teams. But it just feels like they don't really rate what these players, who many were calling the absolute best in the world last season at this time, and considering everything they did, Barca, I think, exceeded every expectation. I don't think anybody had Hansi Flick coming into season one and being able to do what he did with this team. And the standout players still weren't rated that highly. Rafinha should be higher. Pedri should be higher. Lewa, you can argue to an extent, should be higher over guys like Vinny. Gyökeres has had a crazy, crazy record with Sporting, so I'll give him benefit of the doubt. But yeah, man, I don't know. There could be some adjustments here with the list.
Overall, I felt like of the exclusions, I mean, I read y'all my top three. I forgot about Inigo, but that's a phenomenal shout. This one center back in the top 30, to me, you can make the argument that, okay, maybe there weren't that many good center backs. I thought there was a handful, though. And to have Van Dijk at 28th, the lone representation of the center back position, how many keepers did we have? One as well? Just Donnarumma?
Yeah, just Donnarumma.
You know when you were talking about like that top footballing IQ, like hipster pick, a hipster pick would have been Pacho in this top 30.
Ooh, yeah, that's a good one actually. Some of those Champions League matches, he looks so good. So good, man, on the biggest stage imaginable.
Hey, at least the fullbacks, Hakimi and Mendes, got rated. So that's the only guy I'm like.
Bro, but at this point, it would have been blasphemous to not include them. Like
but at least
honestly,
the
bro,
top 10,
Hakimi deserves to be
ridiculous.
higher. I would swap Vitinha and Hakimi today, right now. I would swap them. I'd have no problem if anybody put Hakimi at third. Like, I really wouldn't. I feel like he was so crucial. Mendes was locking down everybody in the Champions League last season. So I don't know, man. I feel like you either don't rate those positions on the field, or you just don't watch enough.
I agree. I thought it was interesting looking at the changes in rankings season over season. Bellingham, dropping 20 spots from 3 to 23. Nico Williams, this was one that we talked about in our Ballon d'Or video last year, which I'm sure you could still find on the channel. 15th to not ranked. And I don't want to beat up on Nico Williams, but again, I think Nico Williams being 15th last year, I'm going to maintain, I think Julian absolutely is a top 30 player performance-wise last season. I would have liked him to get in here. I was going to ask if there's anybody outside of the top three that had an argument, but I think Michael already touched on that. Probably not.
The only way is if Athletic Club won the Europa League, then you could give a shout out to Vivian. That's the only player.
Yeah, really. I would have said the same thing. I feel like the world kind of. I love that Inigo shout that Michael had. I feel like the world kind of just forgot about him the minute he left Barcelona. Like the minute it happened, it's like not even just the journalists, like quite literally everybody. I haven't heard anybody talk about him outside of maybe Barca circles. And we miss him like crazy right now. But I just feel like either nobody really watched him enough to rate him, or they just concluded that Inigo was a byproduct of Hansi Flick's system.
Yeah. All right. Last question I got here. Let's put our thinking brains on. As of right now, are there any way too early predictions for new debutants from La Liga in the Ballon d'Or list for next year.
Oh, this is
Anybody
easy.
on form right now?
Dean Huijsen.
That's a
Dean
good
Huijsen.
one.
Oh, that is a good one.
Carreras.
It's just Carreras, I think, has a better shout than Huijsen because he will have more GA, and clearly that's what people care about.
What if Huijsen gets 5 goals, just all from corners, bro? Come on.
Oh, he's got to surpass Militao right now. I mean, if Militao has 4 more bangers like that rocket against Espanyol, maybe he'll be top 30 in the Ballon d'Or.
Someone that I'm going to give a shout to, bro, because I'm just very interested to see how the season pans out for him. I think it's a very critical season considering where we are with Lewa. I think it's Ferran. I think right now he's the leading goal scorer for Barca. I think anybody who leads the line as the leading goal scorer for a club like Barcelona is going to be looked at, right, for next season. If he isn't, and he still ends like in the top 2 in terms of Barca scores or whatever, I think that'll feel pretty egregious. But bro, like right now, he's just more clinical right now than Lewa. When he comes in, he finds a way to either contribute in a way that Lewa couldn't, or get on the score sheet. So, yeah, if for some reason Rafa slows down, I think expecting him to do what he did last season is honestly kind of ridiculous. Like that was probably a career season for him. Lamin's already gotten injured. Who knows if that ends up becoming a thing? So I think Ferran has like a great opportunity to just like turn a bunch of heads this season.
Yeah. I think from your team, though, I think it is Koundé. Has to be the most likely to break in. I do think it was a crime that he wasn't in there already last year.
You think he does what he did last season, though? Last season, I feel like he was so locked down. I mean,
yeah.
Like with
Until
Garcia this season being more
April.
relevant, I don't know.
I think he started to wear down a little bit, and we talked about this. Like, this is why Barca needed to sign a right back so that he doesn't burn out, and y'all didn't. But maybe it's Eric Garcia now. I mean, he's playing right back, left back, right mid, center back. I mean, plug and play, Eric Garcia. Maybe that's your solution there.
Which player from
I will nominate?
Oh, go ahead.
No, you finish because I think my answer.
I was going to ask you guys, which player from the outside the top 3 clubs would you say has the best chance?
I'm glad you
to
asked,
maybe
Michael.
Sneak in.
I'm glad you asked. Nicola Pepe, right now.
Oh,
ooh, that's a interesting shout. Interesting shout.
All right, if we're going there, I'm saying Mikadadze. If he gets 25 goals in Villarreal and Villarreal finish top 3 in La Liga, I'm pushing the campaign. I'll get the PR going.
Okay, you'll be championing goals. I'll be championing successful dribbles and chances created for Nicola Pepe. Dude, he's been so freaking good. Hey, I just thought of this one. If he had played a full season, I think Isco should have been top 30, man.
A lot of their success.
If Real Betis won the Conference League, he would have had a shout.
Oh, yeah. You take down Chelsea in the final? 1,000%.
Yeah.
1,000%.
Oh, my God. No, I would have said, like, he needs to be in there if they take down Chelsea. Not a shout. Like, nah, bro, put this man at 29th or something and just call it a day. I don't know who you take off. Florian Wirtz, maybe? I don't know. I would be okay with that personally. But yeah, okay, Mikadadze, that's hilarious. Nicola Pepe, Koundé. Anyone else, gentlemen?
It's just tough, man, because you got to look at teams and what they can do outside of the league. And outside of the big 3, it gets really difficult.
If we want to go really crazy and kind of rate a goalkeeper, Johan Garcia. If Barcelona win the Champions League and he's pivotal to what they are going to do, I think Johan Garcia has a massive shout out to make it into the top 30.
Which will be the first time, bro. I mean, I'm sure Ter Stegen's made this list a couple times, but it'll be the first time I feel really confident and honestly excited to have a keeper specifically in that top 30. So often it's just purely our attackers. Even on the defending side, very rarely do Barcelona defenders get in for whatever reason, right? We've had actually better back lines than we have in the last couple seasons, and I feel like very rarely do those defenders get in. So Koundé is the prime example now, but there's so many other exclusion examples that we point to. If Johan Garcia got in, bro, that'd be insane. Insane.
And he will. If you guys make the semifinal or the final, I think he's definitely in. I'll say if you make the final, I think he's definitely in. I think clearly some Inter players, I think, got a bump by making the UCL final. which is fine, whatever, granted. But I just disagree. Last thing I'll say, not a single Atleti player is sniffing top 30 right now.
Not even top 100, bro, at this point.
Bro, Villarreal have like 3 players sniffing top 30. We have 0. Lo Celso is sniffing top 30 more than any Atleti player right
No
now.
shot,
It is
no, bro.
absolutely peak, dude. No, it's peak, man. We're down bad. We play Rio tomorrow.
That's a scary game. That's a scary game.
It's a scary game. Certified draw. Okay, guys, that's it. Those are our thoughts on the Ballon d'Or from La Liga perspective. Again, if you guys want more Spanish content, make sure you are subscribed. Please check out my co-host on social media. Everything in the description. We appreciate you guys for watching. We'll see y'all in the next one.